Have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. 'Cause I have to help each other through thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. Have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. We got troubles everywhere around the world. There's not a safe place to be for any woman, man, boy, or girl. Everywhere you turn, there's destruction and pain. You get a mouthful of promises and a hatful of rain. Just have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. We gotta help each other through thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. Have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. Even all around us, we gotta rise above. We gotta fight the good fight. Stay with love. Hold on, hold on. Help is on the way. And there's a better tomorrow. And I can feel it today. Have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. We gotta help each other through thick and thin. These are trying times that we're living in. Have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend. Have a little faith, I say. Have a little faith, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's Stephen Walters. And welcome. Welcome to Inner Light Ministries, our Sunday virtual service. I am Reverend Deborah Johnson, and so pleased and happy to be with you this day. Let's just take a deep breath, a breath that celebrates life, a breath that takes us deep into the heart of the one. I say welcome regardless of wherever it is that you are, what time of day that it may be, what day of the week. Maybe you're tuning into this Inner Light for the very first time ever. Maybe you've been with us for years. Maybe this is the sixth time you're actually looking at this particular message. What I know is that it's always the right time. Because in God, there is no time and there is no space. It's always a divine appointment. What I know is that it's no accident. That if you're here because something's calling you. If you're here, it's because you know something. You know that there's more to going on in life than that which meets the eye. If you're here, you're hungry for a truth that is transcendent to all of the noise and the clutter and the clamor that's going on in the world. At Inner Light, we have a vision. We have a vision. We are dedicated to spiritual transformation. That's what we are about on the personal level, on the global level. We're about healing through the energy of love and the revealing of our own inner light. We provide tools for living that encourage the practical application of universal spiritual principles to all of life's circumstances, all of them, personal, professional, political, health, finances, all areas, relationships, all areas in all arenas of your life. So I invite you while you're listening to think about the things that we're saying now. Think about the things that you're hearing and that you're feeling and dare to apply them. Just ask yourself, well, what would this mean for me? What would this mean for my family? What would this mean for my community? What would this mean for our nation, the world? How can I use this in my finances? What does this mean for health in the body temple? What does this mean for creativity and collaboration? What does this mean for how I show up in the world? How do we show up in the world? The same truths, the same principles. They apply micro, smaller, and macro, larger. They're not different sets of principles. There aren't things that work in one arena and then don't work in another arena. Dare to take whatever it is that you do know, however it is that it is resonating with you, and dare to expand that to even greater levels. We talk about the things that are universally true here, that are beyond any particular religion, any particular doctrine, any particular creed. I personally was raised very fundamentalist, evangelical, charismatic, Pentecostal. Yes. I grew up with a lot of Bible, beaten up with that Bible a lot as a gay kid, and yet have healed on a lot of that. So I'm actually a metaphysical Bible instructor at a few seminaries. And you'll find me personally using scriptural references, not because that's exclusive, or I think that that's the only way that one can live their spiritual journey. It's what's most familiar to me. Okay, so you may be translating this into your own spiritual practice, or you may be listening to this and thinking, boy, that sounds pretty Buddhist. Or, gee, that sounds like what we just covered in our 12-step program. Or, it sounds like this Native American thing that I heard. Well, the answer is probably yes. It's probably yes. And as I remind us from time to time, if there's someone who is speaking to you about a spirituality and it doesn't sound like anything you've ever heard before, it doesn't remind you of any other kind of tradition or perspective, you need to run. Just run. Just run. Because the truth can't be patented. If it's anywhere, it's everywhere. It's anywhere, it's everywhere. And that's what we are about here. We are about getting to those kernels. What is that that's going to be true beyond history, beyond culture, beyond time, beyond creed, beyond religious perspective? We talk about the stuff of life, of life. Let's breathe that in for a second. At Inner Light, we offer these tools for living, as I said. And one of the tools that we offer every single week, we offer 100 words, 100 words. These are affirmative activations. They are concepts, they're precepts, they are principles, they are perspectives, they're practices. And if you dare to use them, if you dare to come back to them, to repeat them, to embody them, I guarantee you that they will make a shift in your life. But it takes the repetition for that to happen. So when we do it here in the virtual service, it's just to kind of whet your appetite a little bit. It's just to get you exposed to it so that you will, in fact, come back, and repeat it and embody it. If you are in any way at all able and choose to at this particular moment, I want to invite you to say the affirmative activations with me as they come on your screen. Our topic today is there's always another way. I cannot control life. I choose to align with it. There is always a resolution to every situation. I call forth divine order and right action in all affairs, large and small. Human conditions and limitations do not impede the universe. Like a rolling river, life goes over, under, and around all obstacles. Life lifts up all debris and carries it where it will. Nothing prevents life from being life. If something is meant to be, it will be. When a door closes, a window opens. There's always another way that things can manifest. I dwell in all possibility. Just breathe that in for a moment. And I'm going to invite Stephen Walters to come back and give us a little something to cultivate our consciousness.
Thank you, Rev D. This is a beautiful song I heard a while ago from Peter Mayer, and I just love the sentiment of it. It's called Japanese Bowl. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls that was made long ago. I have some cracks in me, but they have been filled with gold. That's what they used back then when they had a bowl to mend. They did not hide the cracks, they made them shine instead. And now every old scar shows for every time I broke, and anyone's eyes can see I'm not what I used to be. But in a collector's mind, all of these jagged lines make me more beautiful and worth a much higher price. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls I was made long ago. I have some cracks in me, see how they shine with gold. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls that was made long ago. I have some cracks in me, see how they shine with gold.
Thank you, Stephen. Let's just breathe that in. Yeah, my topic today is that there is always another way. As I've been contemplating this topic, I've been noticing in my own life, what are those times when I don't believe that? What are those times when I get into resistance about that? You may find yourself resonating with some of these scenarios, and perhaps some of the things that I've learned on my spiritual journey and things that I've witnessed in the lives of others and people that I've counseled through the years might help you to shift your perspectives a little bit about the fact that there's always another way. That the three traps that I get into the most, one of the traps is the idea that there just isn't a way, period. That situation is hopeless, it's impossible. I lack all imagination that there could be some kind of way that this is in fact going to work out. A second trap that I get into is kind of the reverse of thinking, oh, I know the way, and it's this way, and this is the only way. Not that there isn't a way like the first one, but there's just this one way. And if it doesn't happen this way, then somehow or another, it's just not going to happen at all. And my top three, to round out the third of my top three, is, but I don't want that way. Like, God, can't you come up with another way? Really? But nah, it can't be that one. I'm not choosing that one for whatever those reasons, in fact, may be. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that ever gets tripped up on this idea that there is another way. But I will share with you a little bit about some of the things that I've been learning on this journey to this idea that there's always another way. But first, let me talk about, why is it important anyway? Why is it important for us to even know that there's always another way? As human beings, our perceptions are limited. They're limited. There's only so much that we can see. There's only so much that we can perceive. We don't know what's coming down the pike. We don't know what's happening around the corner. We can't see it. But we have this tendency, just because I can't see it with my naked eye, of thinking that nothing's happening, that nothing's going on at all. And I know you've had that experience of all of a sudden realizing how limited your thinking was, how much imagination that you lacked, opportunities that were missed because you were thinking too small, or you just weren't in an open enough heart space to be able to accept and receive some of the blessings that were really trying to come your way. So this understanding that there's always another way is so that we can live life more fully. We can be more joy-filled, that we won't pass up blessings along the way, expecting things to be just a certain kind of way, or heaven forbid, turning away the gifts that are being offered to us. We're here about enlivening life. We're here about stepping into the goodness, stepping into our greater yet to be. We're in Inner Light pioneers of possibilities. There's always another way means possibility. That's what that means, is that there are more possibilities than whatever it is that you can possibly imagine. More possibilities. That there's always another way. I mentioned that there are these 3 different things that I can get into. And I'm pleased to say that over my spiritual growth and with spiritual maturity through the decades, that I get into these less and less. Thank you. Not saying I don't get into them at all, but I get into them less and less. When I am not seeing an answer, or I'm not seeing a solution, I'm not as quick anymore to declare that there isn't one. Listen to what I'm saying. That I've developed a capacity, and I'm encouraging you to suspend the doubt. Because here's what happens in that blank space where we can't see what the resolution is or is going to be. We tend to fill in that space with negative scenarios. We fill it in with all of the bad things that we think might happen when no solution or resolution occurs. Okay? Suspend that. Just don't fill in the blank. If you have to fill in the blank, and I encourage you to fill in the blank if you have the wherewithal and the capacity to do that, fill it in with the end result. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't focus so much on the way, on the how, the who, the where, the when, but focus on the end, seeing it is done, as finished, as complete. Because when we're doing the reverse and we're filling in the blanks, that's what we're doing. We're not filling in the blanks with a bunch of possibilities of other things that might be able to make things right. We're filling in the blanks with all of these scenarios of how it's going to be the worst thing on the back end. But what I know is that there's always a way. So many examples are coming to my mind right now. The one that I'll share, because it was a collective experience with us in the Inner Light community, was the sale of our Inner Light Center, which was really quite the saga. And I don't want to, go into all of the details. But it took over 6 years and 4 different escrows to get it sold. Yes. We sold the property to developers who were going to be developing a senior assistant living complex on our 3.5-acre parcel, 70 plus bed facilities, 3 stories. So there are all these different reasons and things as to why these different escrows didn't go through. The last fallout one, the 3rd escrow, it knocked the wind out of me. I don't even know how else to say it. We were literally just days from closing escrow. Days. We had been waiting to get the final approvals from the Santa Cruz building department or the planning commission rather, for approvals of our plans that had been approved by the building department. I'll never forget that. It was 2020, 2020. It was March 11th, and we got unanimous approval for the plan. 2 days later, COVID shutdowns start. You know the scenario. You lived through it. One of the first things that got impacted were nursing homes and senior assisted living complexes. So the owner that was, or the buyer of the property was an owner operator. So this is their only business. That's all that they do. They buy the land, they build the place, they operate it, really first class, operation. Well, needless to say, it was this ripple effect. It was a ripple effect for all of the facilities that they already had, for the ones that they were built and they were trying to get furnished, and all the supply chain slowdown, and then the ones that were under construction, and they hadn't quite closed with us, so they didn't go through with the escrow. They kept asking for extensions, and then they just didn't go through. And this is the middle of COVID, where now we can't even use the sanctuary. You can't even sing. It's like, I don't know what to do. But I knew enough to pray, because I knew that there was always another way. And what wound up happening is that somebody that used to work with that company that couldn't complete that last escrow, they actually were the second and the third escrow, the same company. They had fallen out before because of water right issues that we were having a hard time getting. Somebody from that company was going around and essentially being a consultant and brokering transactions on the multitude of these kinds of deals that got lost out there in space and limbo. Because we had gotten all the approvals, we had the entitlements on the property that stayed. So somebody new could just come in and pick up the gravy from all of the work that the other people had done. And that's what happened. Another group came in, picked up on all the work that had happened through all of those years, and in a few months, pushed the whole thing through. And they came to us. Based upon what had fallen through. Listen to what I'm saying. We could have gotten into the doomsday and, what happened to us? The whole thing blew up and all this work and what. There's always another way. If it's meant to be, it'll be. It'll just have to be through another way. So prior to this boom explosion and feeling like, oh God, can there be another way? I was so sure that there was the way. I was just so sure. We'd worked for years, lined up, I could taste it. But it didn't happen. What I was so sure of didn't happen. But it didn't happen in the way that I thought that it was going to happen. Listen to what I'm saying. I wouldn't have been open. I wouldn't have been open earlier to the idea that, well, this one is going to get approved, but it's going to fall out. But yet there's a fourth one that's going to come along and it's going to work. Don't even talk to me about that. I don't even want to hear that. I don't even go there. But that was the truth. That was the right action. I didn't want to imagine that the plan that I had wasn't going to work, which would have made me had to be open to the idea of an alternative. I didn't want another alternative. I don't want to go through any more paperwork. I didn't want to do this. I want to do it. And yet, that was the saving grace. Yet that was the gift to do it again. But it all built on everything that had happened before. And this is what I know about the universe and how it works. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is lost. If there's another way that something is going to come about or happen, it will utilize whatever it was that was before that is still of value, that is still of worth. That's how it happens. There's always another way. There's no statute of limitations. If you hang on to the vision. I mentioned before about growing up with a lot of Bible, and there's a story that's coming to my mind now. It's a popular story, and it's a story of Moses. The story of Moses getting called to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go. The part of the story that's coming up for me is that Moses grew up in the Pharaoh's house. He was a Jewish boy who had been put in a basket in the river. This was at a point in time when there had been a decree that had been put out, literally to slaughter the Jewish males under the age of 2 as a means of like population control in Egypt. This wasn't the first time that this kind of thing happened, but that's what was going on. And his mother put him in this basket in the river. And the Pharaoh's daughter takes him out of the basket. She knows he's Jewish because he's swaddled in Jewish cloth. Well, it turns out that his mother's come to be the wet nurse and his sister, and he has his biological family there with him, but he's essentially raised as the Pharaoh's grandson. So you can imagine this internal conflict that he's having, where he's Jewish in this really privileged position, and he's bearing witness to all of this degradation and oppression that's happening to his Jewish people. Well, as a young man, he can't handle all of this, and he commits murder. So many of the people in the Bible were murderers. He commits murder. He kills an Egyptian guard. He is so mad at the mistreatment that this Egyptian guard is having towards some of the Jewish people. It gets wind, and he starts to hear rumors where people know that he's the one who did this, that he's the culprit. So fearing for his life, he leaves. He gets out of Dodge, and he is gone for a very long time. A very long time. And he's doing well. He starts to become a sheep herder. He marries a woman, African descent, and he's herding her father Jethro's sheep. And then he gets the call. Sometimes we call it the burning bush, but it actually says it was a bush that was in flames, but not consumed by the flame. And it's calling him by name. telling him to take off his shoes because he's standing on holy ground. And he's being asked to go back. He says, the spirit voice, the divine, the voice of God is telling him, go back and demand to the Pharaoh that he let your people go. And Moses is like, no. I'm wanted back there. He's go back. But I'm an old man now. Go back. I stutter. He's not the Charlton Heston, let my people go. He stuttered. God was like, no, I'll send your brother Aaron to do the talking if necessary. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. He had a vision as a young man of his people being freed. He wasn't quite sure how all of that was going to happen. So he resorted to the violence out of his own rage. But there was another way. It was years later. And when he's being told and shown this other way and the role that he can play a part in it, he's like, no. I don't want to do that. Or I can't do that. We get in the way of there being other ways with our own preconceived ideas. And it took him to surrender. You know, I said everything builds. Nothing is wasted. So he's chosen to be the one because of his experience in the Pharaoh's house. He knows everybody. He understands the culture. He has a certain stature and status. There's a way that he can be involved and that he can participate that's actually unique to him. Actually unique to him. This is what I know. That in Spirit's way, when there's another way, Spirit uses everything that is involved. Everything. It's a cumulative. It may be shifted and changed in its form, okay? But matter is neither created nor destroyed. It only changes form. So the universe is like this huge compost pile where even the crap becomes fertilizer for whatever it is that's next. But if we're busy being ashamed of the crap, all the manure in our life, or we're busy trying to hide it and push it aside, wanting to look good, we're going to miss all the other ways that stuff can happen, utilizing the things that we don't want, the things that we don't even value, but they are part of the big divine design. It is not ours to micromanage the universe. It's not ours to try to second guess or to figure all that out. Our only responsibility in the co-creative process is the possibility consciousness. That's our job. Our job is not to figure out the where and the how and the when and the who and the what. Not our job. Our job is simply to know that a way is possible. We don't even have to know what the end result looks like. You don't even necessarily have to have a vision of the end. when I was saying before, fill it in with something at the end, let me be clear. I'm not saying that you have to have real specific about what it is. Let's say, for example, we're seeing a kid, an at-risk youth who's getting in all kinds of trouble. They are, let's just say they're in gangs or they're doing drugs. Maybe they've dropped out of school or they're living on the streets or like all of the above, high risky sexual behaviors. Just like stop. You can tell that they're on a path that's going to lead to addiction or incarceration or like something like that. Some people would just look at that kid, and because they don't know what to do, they don't know how this kid can be helped, they don't know what it is that could turn this kid's life around. They'll just picture in their mind this kind of end result, this negative thing. Okay, well, they're gonna wind up dead in the streets from gang violence. They're gonna, wind up addicted. They're gonna wind up in prison, in jail. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. Blah blah. Whatever that little scenario is. But you don't have to know who or what or how this kid's life is going to turn around. Our job is not to fix everything. Our job is to know that it's possible, not to give up on this kid, not to give up on any of us. Even if we don't know specifically what it's going to look like on the back end. What we do know and what we do affirm and should affirm in every situation, that there's another way, that there is a way that this life of this kid is going to be whole, that this kid can make a contribution, that their life matters, that there's creativity within them, that there's intelligence within them, that with opportunities and the right guidance in the direction, that there's no reason in the world why they too can't live a fulfilled, productive, and beneficial life, to where all of us benefit from the genius, the success of this kid, that at this moment we're not getting or seeing where it's all going to come from. It's that capacity. I was trained to see people for all they can be, see them for all of it, and you meet them where they are. You meet them where they are, but you hold that dynamic tension. Okay, you're 5 years old. I'm your parent. I see you. I can see you as a teenager. I can see you as an adult. And it's my job to help prepare you for that. But you're 5. Okay. So I got to relate to you, deal with you, care for you, play with you at 5. But if all I see is 5, I'm going to miss all your potential. But if all I'm doing is trying to prepare for your potential, I'm going to miss loving you and being with you at 5. So there's this living in the and is what I always call this. When we're knowing that there's another way, we're living in the and. We're not in denial of the things that are going on right now. I'm not denying that you're 5, but I'm not giving the appearances and the circumstances the last word. You're not always going to be 5. This too shall pass. Whatever it is that's going on, it too will shift and it will change. And that's our job in this. Our job is just to know. Our job is to hold the high watch, to know that all of the spiritual qualities can still express, even if they're not expressing in the way that we thought. That if it's your calling, you will have your calling. I don't know how many people I've seen. I've been doing prison outreach over 20-something years. And I'm watching the creativity in prison, the leadership, people essentially being ministers in prison. It's always another way. If it's your calling, it's something for you to do, Spirit will make up a way. Our job is just to say yes. That's all. Our job is just the possibility consciousness. And the universe will work it all out. You may, like Moses, be sent back to some place you didn't want to be in the first place. Hey, there's always another way. You may wind up having to do it differently and let go of everything that you thought you'd already done. Like the third escrow I was talking about, opening up the way for the fourth escrow. I don't know the different combinations that are going to happen. But what I know is that there is always another way. Just breathe that in for a moment. And we're going to take this to prayer. I say thank you. Mother, Father, God, Spirit Almighty, living creator of all things, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. I am knowing that you are not just omnipotent, you are all power itself. You are not just omnipresence, you are all presence itself. You are not just omniscient, you are all omniscience. You are all knowledge, bigger than anything that we can possibly imagine, nothing that we can describe in words. But I know that there is nothing else. That each and everything comes out of it, and that includes us. So in this moment right now, we dare to believe. We dare to know that one with the only thing that is that all things are. We mind our mind. We speak power into truth and truth into power. We choose to see with the transcendent view, not judge by the appearances. All is it's Maya, it's illusion. All spiritual traditions don't do that. And they all tell us that there's another way. They don't promise no rain. They don't promise no storms. What they promise is a rainbow. What they promise is the sun will shine. That the rose will bloom after the dark winter. This is the promise. Another way. The resilience of our soul. Another way. That body temple that's diseased and filled with all kinds of illness. Another way. It won't stay like that. Every single moment, the cells are duplicating themselves. the organs, the muscles, the tissue, the organs, the bones, everything is shifting and changing, multiplying. And we are praying in this moment right now that it all regenerates, that it all rejuvenates back to its perfect pattern of design. We call forth the same perfection, this same divine unfoldment in the body of our financial affairs. All needs met, sustenance, fulfillment, coming through is whatever it needs. That bill being paid, food, clothing, housing, divine right transportation, opportunities that open up, the ways and the means being made to follow the creative dream, whatever that may be. We're calling forth the possibility, consciousness, the other way in all areas of our lives, in our one-on-one relationship, in our political relationships, our global relationships, the decency, the respect, the tolerance, the compassion, the willingness to hear, to serve, to nurture, I speak this word on behalf of Earth, Gaia, Mother Nature, Pachamama consciousness, from which all of it comes. I speak my word knowing that there's always another way for her healing. There's always another way for her restoration. And that we do our part in the cooperation for whatever that needs to be in alignment. For her to just be who she is. We're all living creatures and all sentient beings. The opportunity to just be what they're designed to be. Thank you, Mother, Father God, for blessing each and every one of us. And a special thanks for your continuously shining down on Inner Light Ministries, that we may continue to serve, to teach, to heal, and be agents of transformation, where we honor all paths that lead to truth, justice, and sustainability. It's good. Get out of the way. We allow it to be, and so it is. Amen and amen. Let's breathe that in. We're praying community at Inner Light. We have prayer practitioners who are ready, willing, and able to heed and answer that call to prayer. You'll see scrolling across your screen now ways in which you can contact us. You can send us an email, the number 4 and the word prayer at innerlightministries.com, and somebody will get back to you. We don't give you canned prayers. It's stuff that is specifically for you. You can give us a call, 831-465-9090, the extension 254. Somebody will get back to you. But we start praying immediately. It doesn't start when we actually make contact. We start praying immediately. And also hit us up with some good news, or let us stand with you in agreement for something wonderful unfolding in your life as well. You don't have to reach out to us just in crises. You can reach out to us in creativity as well. And speaking of reaching out, feel free to look us up on our calendar or follow us in social media. And you can see the various things that are going on. Some things are virtual, some things are in person, some things are hybrid of both of those. We would love for you to be with us and to participate with us in the spiritual community. I want to remind everybody that if you are in the Santa Cruz area, to please come check out our food bank. We're pushing out over 8,000 pounds of food, farmers market style, every week on Thursdays at noon. We are operating now out of Santa Cruz Bible on Frederick, close to Soquel Avenue, and good fresh produce, vegetables, breads, packaged goods, and say thank you to the dozens of people who volunteer their time every week to unload that stuff, spread it out on the tables, assist you with your purchases. Please come by. We are fortunate enough to live in such a breadbasket in the Santa Cruz area to be able to have access to this. No one need go hungry around here. It's not a supply problem. It's a distribution problem. So please, even if it isn't for your own self, come avail yourself and make sure that it gets into the hands, the mouths, and the bellies of the ones who most need it. Yes. I also say thank you to all of you who help to sustain this ministry with your efforts, with your volunteer work, your leadership, and especially now I say thank you for your financial contributions to make sure that we're able to continue to do the healing transformative work that we do. You'll see on your screen that there are some different opportunities and ways that you can, in fact, make a financial, contribution. And any of the ways that you choose would be most appreciated. As it comes on your screen, you see there is a QR code that you can use on your mobile device. You can do it right now. It'll come back on at the end of the message here as well. You can do PayPal there. You can do any credit card or debit card. And I encourage you to choose the option of recurring for whatever amount that is that you select. And if you're watching us on your computer, you can also just go to the Innerlight website and you'll see that there are buttons there that you can click to donate. There's Cash App. You can also text to give. Regardless of the methodology, know that every nickel, dollar, and dime is going towards healing and transformation. If you are able to, I would like you to participate with me in this blessing for everything that's coming in. And just repeat these words after me. My every act produces abundance. I dare to give freely unto the truth that sets us free. I release this gift, knowing it returns to me 1,000-fold. Thank you again for your generosity. And as we prepare to conclude this Sunday virtual service, I am going to be inviting Stephen Walters to come back to give us a last offering. As always, we remind you that everything that you've heard here, everything that you're feeling, the revelations that you're getting beyond anything that you've even heard, it's coming from your own internal guidance, to take this consciousness and multiply it. Peace and blessings to you.
Thank you, Rev D. I'm thinking of this song, this beautiful song I've heard from Alexi Murdoch, and it's called Something Beautiful. And there's a lot of words in it, and the song is generally done with a chorus of people singing with it. So if you want to sing this at home, well, it's going to be hard to get, but see if you can follow along. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. Yes, I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light shine. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. May the grace of God be with you always in your heart. May you know the truth inside you from the start. May you find the strength to know you are a part of something beautiful. And I thought that I saw the light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. Yes, I thought that I saw a light shine. I thought I saw a light shine. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light. From the corner of my eye, I thought I saw a light shine.